So they announced the release of the PS1 Classic. And already I see everybody falling to pieces. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I gotta move out of the country. I just gotta. I heard Elon Musk is gonna fly people around the moon. Is that true? Everybody's like vying for a ticket, like submitting like essays and stuff like that to get the chance to. It's like the golden ticket from Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory to take a trip around the moon. I want to go. Here's my essay right now. But Elon Musk, I want to go to the moon. But I don't want to go by spaceship. I want you to build like a giant fist with a spring that hits me right under the chin. I tell you what, man, this PS1 Classic, it's a plug and play. Anybody? You know, you go to the thrift store and they're stacked from the floor up to the ceiling. Plug and plays, nobody will buy them. How long does it take people to realize this is nothing but a plug and play? Well, Ben 1000, you don't understand it upscales through HDMI onto your flat screen TV. What? Really? So you're ready to pay $100? Pay for this! You're ready to pay $100 for 20 PS1 games? I went to the garage sales a couple of weeks ago. The woman handed me a PS1. Handed it to me. And if I was going to buy one at the garage sale, I know everybody doesn't have the same garage selling atmosphere, even though I think it sucks around here. But you're not paying more than $10 for a PS1 at a garage sale. And in the games, you pay $1 to $2 per PlayStation game. $5 tops for a really decent title. Oh my God. I just don't know what's going on. I really don't. For $40, I guarantee you I can track down a PS1 and all the games on whatever the cockamamie list. They got 5 games out already. Right? Chop the price in half and give me Einhander, and then we'll talk. Oh my God! But you know what? The only saving grace in this is it's like the PlayStation fanboys I can deal with. It's the Nintendo fanboys. God forbid they release this N64 Classic. And you're gonna see a bunch of fucking Nintendo fanboys running around the block, a dry hump coming in their dungarees. It makes me sick. Nintendo could release, it's going to be like, well, we're releasing the new Suicide Classic. You could only play it if you commit suicide. You know how many fucking geeks you'd have dangling from a rope the very next day? Get your pre-orders. They crash the internet. So you ain't taking time. I just can't handle it. Let me tell you something. I'm a big fan of the PS1, okay? Now, okay? And towards the end of the PS1's run, I was a huge fan. When it first came out, guys, I don't think it was a real snoozer. I remember seeing it in Sears Roebuck. No, I remember I walked into Sears, and there it was. They were playing some game. I don't know what it was. It was like some type of like downhill, might have been a snowboarding game or something like that, a skiing game. It had the most disgusting textures I've ever seen. The graphics were horrendous. The gameplay was horrendous. The load times were horrendous. It was on par with the Sega CD when it came out. I'm not kidding. Now, it got much better, much faster. Okay? I will say that. Over the course of the weeks and months to come, the PlayStation 2 really... It didn't... I would say it really didn't catch fire until like a year and a half, 2 years. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? I was perfectly happy with my Sega Saturn. Alright? I walked into an electronics boutique, I bought my Sega Saturn for $49.99. Brand new. And the games at the time, oh my god, if I could take a time machine. All the games were on clearance at the time. This is how I used to buy my game systems. Every last one of them. Actually, I bought the Saturn when there was a glimmer of hope. Actually, how could there have been a glimmer of hope? It was $49.99. And I would buy games out of the clearance bin for $5, no more than $10. And we're talking about Darius Gaydon. Thunder Force 5, right? Thunder Force 5. Dark Savior. Even though that's not one to write home about. Guardian Heroes. I paid $9.99 for Guardian Heroes. Took that game home and it absolutely blew my mind. One of my favorite games of all time to this day. Beat 'em ups, it doesn't get any better than Guardian Heroes. It's the greatest beat 'em up of all time. On the Sega Saturn. What stunning pixelated graphics. Gameplay, choose your own adventure beat 'em up. I mean, this guy's was level up characters. As far as I'm concerned, this is the basis. This should be the basis for every beat 'em up moving forward. It's like the Mauser bolt action. The Mauser bolt action is to rifles, as Guardian Heroes is to beat 'em ups. How about that? Please, I remember picking up Dragon Force. Magic's, what was the name of the game? Magic something Ray Earth. And Albert Odyssey, same day, $30. $9.99 each, working design games. In the Saran wrap. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Magic Knight Ray Earth. Oh my God, you want to buy Magic Knight Ray Earth today? You better cash in your 401k. Oh yeah. What was some? Oh, please! And you got the pack-in game for the Sega Saturn. What was it? Virtual Fighter and Daytona USA. And what was I watching? The Last Gamer. He had that playing in his credits on his last video. Okay, remember the Daytona song? Daytona, let's run. What do you used to say? Let's fly away, Daytona. I love that song. What was it about that song?
Daytona, Daytona, let's go away, Daytona, Daytona, let's go away.
Number one, it was because somebody was actually singing on the track. That was a very Japanese thing. You never got a video game where there was actual like vocals on a music track. No. That only happened in Japan. I remember it was maybe a duo game, a PC Engine game that I got. No, it might have been Daytona USA where I first heard somebody singing on a video game track. It was like, whoa, is that legal? And Daytona USA was a great game. I mean, there wasn't much to it, but it was a great game. It was so fun to play. And then you had the guy singing Rolling Stone. And the music that was a fucking great.
Rolling Stone.
For some reason, it was so catchy. I mean, it's not music that you would ever, get caught by any other human being listening to. But in the moment, playing that game was fantastic. Listen, what do I know about the PlayStation? To be honest with you, I bought Metal Slug X before I even bought the PlayStation. I said, oh my God, I gotta have this game.
Lane shot. Shotgun.
I said, I don't know what this game is, but I gotta have it. And I bought it and basically waited for the PlayStation to plunge in price, which eventually it did. I remember I paid $79.99 for it. And to be honest with you, I think I had 4 games for the PlayStation. I wasn't big in the PlayStation, man. I was so happy with my Sega Saturn that the PlayStation really, I wasn't into it. The games that I were into, I was into Anheinder. I had Anheinder. Oh my God. Anheinder is one of the greatest shooters of all time, I have to say. And it's amazing. Square's only time they actually made a shooter. Oh my God, I'd lock myself in a room and play Anhinder. It was terrific. The first boss, if somebody came over, I used to love to show them the first boss, because the first boss would do all these different things. Like it'd shoot like the head off or something like that, and it would start like smashing on the ground and shaking around. And like lightning, it was like lightning all over it, like it was about to blow up. Oh my God, it was so exciting. And then you had the train level, where this like train barreling down the tracks, and you're trying to gun it down, and you see it coming down through the background. And the weapon systems in Anhinder were fantastic. Oh, they were sensational. Because you had 2 power-ups you can get. And they were all guns, obviously. But it could be like a cannon, and you grab the cannon, and you could install the cannon below the ship, or on the fly, you could press a button and the cannon would hook to the top of the ship. Like swing over on it like an arm or something like that. And then like a Gatling gun would come, and you could attach that to the bottom, so you could hold 2 weapons. And you could control both weapons individually. But it worked somehow. Could you control each one individually? And I think you could swap one to shoot behind you. But anyway, you had this rack system on your ship where you could connect a rocket launcher over here, cannon over here. So you would have like a Vulcan to take care of the smaller enemies, and then you'd have this cannon on the bottom so you could ice the bigger enemies. It was really powerful. And sometimes you go crazy, you put a cannon on the top, you put a cannon on the bottom, or you put a Vulcan on the top, Vulcan on the bottom, and just spray the hell out of the board. And oh my God, the sound was great. The level design was gorgeous. Sometimes you'd start in this almost 3D perspective, and it would beautifully transition into a 2D perspective. And oh my God, the end bosses were all fantastic. Anhinder, it's truly one of the great shooters of our time, and it doesn't get any credit. And it was right on the cusp of, it was between, 2D sprite-ish and heading into polygon area. Weird transition right there, but it worked. And it still works today. It's still a great game today. I know it is. And I haven't even played it today. I'm telling you it is. Yeah, sip of coffee for Anhinder. Sometimes I think the game didn't go anywhere because nobody could pronounce the name. I think that happens sometimes. Yeah, I'm playing this game. It's, like, how do you even tell your friends? Sure, we all know it now because of the internet. I swear to God, I didn't know how to pronounce it until I heard somebody do a review of it online. Years later, I was like, oh, Anhinder. Or you get the other bozos. Einhander. I mean, who... I don't know. Anhinder. Yeah. Then you got a stick driver on there. I'm sorry. You got to understand. You got to understand what kind of game Driver was when it came out. Driver was something else altogether. All right? This was before Grand Theft Auto, right? Am I right on this? This is like you hop in this car, and you had, number one, you had, the game threw you such a curveball, because you had like this training mission to do in the beginning. You had to hop in the car with this black guy, and prove that you knew how to drive the car. So you had to do all these like whoop-de-doos and donuts and spin outs and and stuff like that. It was actually a pretty hard test that you had to complete before you could actually play the game. And I remember doing the test a couple times and being like, this is ridiculous. And I put the game down. And I remember getting bored one day and I picked it back up and I completed the test. Because I thought the game was going to be like one of these tests after another. I didn't realize what was actually going to happen. Then when the guy approves you, you get jobs driving a car, you know, for these gangsters or whatnot. And then the game opens up into this, you know, huge, like, open world thing. It was like the first time you could actually, like, drive around in a city and go wherever you want. Yes, it didn't happen before. This was really, really neat. Oh, yeah, it was cool. And the car sounded decent. And I got news for you. It was like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. They tell you to go on some mission. It was like, yeah, fuck you. I'm going for a drive. And all I would do is drive around the town and stir up trouble and try to get as many cops as I could to chase me. And go on these wild, and I mean we're talking wild, chases. And didn't they have the option where you could like record the chase or watch the chase afterwards? And it was just like complete mayhem. Cop cars flying through the air and twisting and crashing. The only thing Driver was missing was the ability to hit pedestrians. That would have made it a sensational game. And if you could hit them and like their heads would blow off or something like that, then the game would be on just a level that we can't even understand right now. Because I remember you would try to hit pedestrians and they would be able to like dive out of the way. And it was like, oh, jeez, did you have to do that? Sony? PlayStation? Did you have to do that? Or just run them over and... It just would have been so fun. Or pin them against a building or something like that. Come on. Watch their eyeballs pop out. I don't know, man. Driver, and what did that lead to? Then that led to Vice City. Oh my God! Remember Grand Theft Auto Vice City? What a gem! It was basically like Driver with better graphics, and I could cruise around the city creating mayhem. And and basically run over people, and I can listen to 80s music while I'm cruising. What? What? The hours that I put into Vice City just causing mayhem.
Rotterdam, 21 North, de La Habana. Rotterdam, 24 North, de La Habana. Rotterdam, 21 North, de La Habana. Rotterdam, 19 North, de La Habana. Respond to Rotterdam, 71 North, de La Habana.
Oh my God, you drive into the Haitian towns? Remember you had the Haitian neighborhoods? That game, what a gemstone. Put on your Don Johnson outfit and go out for a cruise, and then you can get out of the car and blast people.
Gracias, licenciado.
Suspect on foot. Respond to Rotterdam, 19 North, 5 points.
I don't want trouble here.
You could run people over. Oh my God. It was great. All while listening to Flock of Seagulls. I used to love going into the shopping mall and just going on this rampage through the shopping mall, and then you just run out and hop in your car, and the cops would be just like coming in from all angles, and you just see if you could get out of there alive. Yeah. So that's it. And then what else did I have? Gran Turismo. Oh my God. Put me to sleep. Honestly. I mean, Gran Turismo must have been a popular game. Somebody was playing it. I don't know who. But they sold enough copies of the game. Jesus Christ, you can't get a lot of PS1 games without getting Gran Turismo. The fucking game put me to sleep. It put me to sleep. I don't know. All I'm saying is to you PS1 guys is, I don't know. But it wasn't long. It wasn't long before you could walk through the game store. You go down to, what was it at the time, Babbage's, and just go to the PlayStation wall and just see like Ogre Tactics and Valkyrie Profile and Tales of Destiny and in the Final Fantasy Anthology and Final Fantasy Tactics, and it was just like this gaming system is just went off the rails. And at that time, I already moved on to bigger and better things. I went from the 32-bit PlayStation. I got the 64-bit Jaguar, baby. And I was off to the races. All you had to do was tell me. The whole bit idea of bits was so important. It was so important. I mean, when the Neo Geo came out, you gotta understand something. The Neo Geo came out, we were just kissing the 16-bit era. This Neo Geo came out, and what was it, 32-bit? That's all I needed to know. Neo Geo was king, baby. And I got news for you. Neo Geo was king for a long time. If you would have told me to smash my PS1 on the floor and I'll give you a Neo Geo, I mean, done. I would have shattered the thing into a million pieces. But then when that Atari Jaguar came out for a little while, and then the price plunged. And I jumped on it. I think I paid like $40-something for that too. I might have paid $39 for it. For my Atari Jaguar, I might have paid $39 for it. And all you had to tell me it was 64-bit. That's it. In your face, everybody else. This is before the Nintendo 64. I just had to know the bit size. And I remember I brought that Atari Jaguar out, and as soon as I pulled it out of the box, I knew there was something fishy going on. I said, wait a second, why does this thing only weigh 4 ounces? And it's still working off an RF cable. There's something fishy going on here. And I remember at that time I was buying the Jaguar games on clearance, and I swear I wasn't paying more than $5.99 per Jaguar game. They were not more than $5.99 unless you were buying a CD game. Then I think the CD games were $9.99. And you wanted to buy the Jaguar CD? It was $100. It was still $100 at the time. I could have bought 5 of them. I should have just kept them in the box. What are they going for now? In box, brand new. Jesus Christ. Never mind sinking all, like somebody like would go back in time and do something smart, like put their money into Apple or Google or something like that. Idiot me would have 5 Atari Jaguar CDs. Oh yeah, and I remember buying Atari Jaguar games almost by the dozen. Like as soon as I would get money, I would go buy Atari Jaguar games, and it was a running joke with me. I would put in my Atari Jaguar game, I would turn it on, I would play it for about 10 minutes, and I would be like, "You got to be kidding me! This is a joke. I was waiting for cameras to pop out of the corner of my room, and balloons to fall on my head." Like I was on a hidden camera show. This is a joke, right? This is 64-bit. Every single game was horrendous. It was a joke. I'd put in another game and just sit there and laugh. And but this one's horrendous too. Checkered flag. Horrendous. Hover strike. Horrendous. You name it. They were so stupid, the games. They were so dumb. There were a few decent titles. They had a rally game. I think it's very underrated. Okay. You had Doom. Doom was fantastic. I think it was like the best version of Doom that I ever played. It was bright. It wasn't dark like other versions of Doom that I've seen. The music was... Jaguar didn't really have a sound chip to speak of. What were the other standout games? Oh, Rayman! Rayman on Atari Jaguar was gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And it was like, why can you do this, but you can't do that? It didn't make any sense. That's why the Jaguar was such a trip. I tell you what, I love the Jaguar. I think, to me, nostalgically, the Jaguar, it hit so many emotions because I was so let down by it. Some of the games I enjoyed so much. Raiden was great on the Jaguar. There were a few other games that were really good on the Jaguar. It's like, why? I don't understand how they made this game so good and the other games were trash. I just didn't get it. They had this one game where you were like miniature cars. Driving around in like a big environment, and the cars had the worst physics. Number one, they were all blocky. The backgrounds were all blocky. The music was terrible, if there was even music. But you could drive up like these... It just didn't make sense, and the cars would go flipping into the air and like disappear into the walls. It was like... Did the programmers just give up? Did you just go out to lunch and say, yeah, ship it out? Oh, you know what game I used to love for the Jaguar? Iron Soldier. Okay, the concept of this game, it couldn't be better. You were this huge mech robot. and you would just walk through a city, and you could like walk through buildings, and they were like skyscrapers, but they would when you would blow up like shoot a building or punch a building. I forgot whether you could punch or not. You were in this. It was like a small city, like this. It was like a small environment. But you would walk around and you would walk up to these buildings, and like the buildings would just shatter into like a bunch of boxes. It almost reminded me of like cardboard boxes. When they blew up, but it looked so cool. It was like every box was going in another direction. And you would fight another robot, and you would like destroy the city. And this is a great concept, Iron Soldier. And that was the main reason why I really wanted the Jaguar CD, because they had Iron Soldier 2. And I said, oh my God, imagine what this thing's got to be like on the CD player. It's got to be absolutely incredible. It wasn't. It wasn't. I saw gameplay of it later on. It's not. But Iron Soldier had such a nice concept to it. Oh my God. I used to love playing it. It was a horrendous game, but I used to love playing it. Listen, you just tuned into the greatest video game program in the history of human civilization. And somebody's taking out the fucking trash again. I don't get it. And you better believe that. With a 4K face! I'll see you next time.